Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. Couple of stories for us to talk about. The plan for Arsenal in January that includes Milinkovic-Savic and Youssoufa Moukoko actually includes a centre-back and another player in midfield as well. We're going to be talking about that. Arsenal could be looking at a swap deal for Tomiyasu and Dumfries. Now, that one is a skeptical one, but we'll talk about it. Milinkovic-Savic is back in the news and linked with Arsenal. And there is an opportunity for Arsenal to sign one of the most interesting young strikers on the land right now, Youssoufa Moukoko. We're going to be diving into all that. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the podcast as well. In the comment section, I want to have your thoughts on the conversation about Tomiyasu and Dumfries. Dumfries is a very interesting right back. Very, very talented. And I think is so explosive. Tomiyasu on the other side is I'm going to say is quite a reserved player, but really, really versatile. When you look at what he can do and the number of positions he can play in, he's played at left back for us this campaign. He's played at right back last campaign, and he's played at centre back and also plays in a back three. Would you be comfortable with Dumfries coming in and Tomiyasu going the other way to Inter Milan? Let me know in the comment box below. But that is a swap deal I would really not do at this point in time. And I'm going to tell you why. But first and foremost, the Express, Ryan Taylor, of course, has been writing a lot around Arsenal this morning. And he has said that the plan for Arsenal, Edu's plan and Mikel Arteta's plan, does not end on Milinkovic-Savic and Youssoufa Moukoko. They actually want to bring in a couple of other players in some other positions as well. And a centre-back, a left centre-back, is actually a player they are looking at. So we've talked about Ivan Dika and the agreement Arsenal have on personal terms. And I think this is a deal that could be done and dusted. By the time we go into January, I think we're going to have more information. We're going to have more confirmations from the likes of Fabrizio Romano that Ivan Dika will be an Arsenal player. So we want to sign a left centre back. I think Mikel Arteta wanted this one in January, but because there is that opportunity for Ivan Dika to sign in the summer on a free and probably save Arsenal some money, save Arsenal some funds to splash on other positions, that is why we've decided Ivan Dika comes in the summer, and that position will be dealt with in the summer as well. But then I also think it will allow us time to let the likes of Rob Holding leave. I really don't see now the value in keeping Rob Holding around. If we sign Ivan Dika to partner or to compete with Gabriel Magalhaes, and then you have Tomiyasu who's competing with Ben White and William Saliba at right back and right centre back. To be honest, then Rob Holding doesn't have any need to be at Arsenal. I know he loves Arsenal. I know he's been here for some long time. He knows the system. He's understood the education of this football club. But in the end, we've got to decide: is he good enough for the team? Is he even good enough to be a fringe player at the moment? In my opinion, no. I think he can stay until the end of the season. But at the end of the season, Rob Holding definitely has to move on for the benefit of his career as a player, but then also just to create that space for other players to walk into. So Ivan Dika as left centre back, that position will be filled in the summer. Now the other story or the other position is central midfield, and Ryan Taylor says that we might see Arsenal moving for Youssoufa Moukoko in January. And if it doesn't happen, we might see Youssoufa Moukoko signing in the summer, or Arsenal filling this central midfield area in the summer. That is something I really don't want. That is something I really feel we shouldn't be doing, because we are one Xhaka injury away from crumbling. Our midfield is one Granit Xhaka injury away from crumbling. I think Fabio Vieira is really, really sensational. I think he's really done a very, very good job. But Xhaka, like Ian Wright has said, Xhaka is Arsenal's player of the season. Very consistent, very changed. He's become a leader, he's become mature, and he's really performing at the best levels. We've never seen him perform even at Borussia Mönchengladbach 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago when we signed him. I don't remember when we signed him, but I still remember he was an Arsene Wenger signing. So I think the whole plan here, guys, is to bring in a central midfielder, to bring in a defensive midfielder, a left back, a left centre back, to bring in a right back. I think Arsenal will do a right back in the summer, and then focus on a Maki signing, because again, the Express saying that Arsenal's Edu is prepared to sanction a Maki signing in 2023. That one could be Mikhailo Modric. But I won't be surprised if Arsenal don't do one Maki signing. For me, I still believe that Arsenal can get Joao Felix done, and can also get Mikhailo Modric done. And probably that happens if one deal can be done in a sort of arrangement where we do a loan deal in January, and then the rest of the money can be paid across the next or coming season. So our plan for me is good, very, very good. I've not seen a real centre forward on this one, but I think it's so far so good. If Arsenal can think about and then deliberate about signing maybe another striker, probably in the summer, probably in January, depending on the funds and the time, I think the plan is still good. So far, so good. We need to drive out a few other players still from the team. Xhaka is excluded from that list finally. But I think the likes of Rob Holding will have to leave. I feel like Edin Ketia eventually could leave this Arsenal side. Reece Nelson as well could leave eventually. Mohamed El Neni eventually could leave in the summer maybe, and Albert Sambi Lukonga. I think there are a few players that will leave this Arsenal side, just to allow us sign some new players and get this whole squad right together. Now let's talk about Serge Milinkovic-Savic, right? Let's talk about Serge Milinkovic-Savic. It's a story that we always talk about every January transfer window, every summer transfer window, and whenever there is a chance for him to be linked with Manchester United and Arsenal, Serge Milinkovic-Savic has always been linked with. But of course, there is also this, growing trend in marketing in the Italian market. I think they've really, really done well in terms of revamping the Italian Serie A. And one of the things they've done is investing a lot of time and a lot of ideology in the transfer market as the Italian Serie A. So, Serge Milinkovic-Savic is a player who will never leave Lazio in any market, but is a player who's always linked with a move away from Lazio. Now, his contract, I have to believe, ends in 2023, but Lazio do have an option to extend by a year. He's 27. For me, if his deal should have happened 2 years ago, 1 year ago, or this year, right? He's 27 for fuck's sake. He needs to move on. He's not going to win anything with Lazio, and I think he knows that. And that's why every summer, I think he's desperate for a move. But the fact that he's captain there, the fact that he's held in very, very high regard, and the fact that he's loved by the community, at Lazio, maybe, adds to some of the reasons why he doesn't leave every summer and every January transfer window. So right now, Lazio want around 50 million euros. In the summer, how much are they really going to get in him? Maybe 40, maybe 45 million euros. He's still a monster of a midfielder. He can play anywhere. I think he can even play in defensive midfield. When you look at his build, when you look at how he looks like as a player, you're like, this is a typical defensive midfielder. But my guy is not even a central midfielder. My guy is more of an attacking midfielder. But of course, he plays in that box-to-box role. His numbers are sick. His numbers are absolutely amazing. And we've compared him to Yuri Tillemans last campaign. Sorry, it was in the summer, not last campaign, but in the summer. And you guys wanted Tillemans, and I thought Serge Milinkovic-Savic was actually the better player. But I don't see this happen. Not in January. Not even in the summer. Arsenal have locked their focus on Yuri Tillemans. And I think if we go away, in terms of signing a midfielder, if we look any other way from Yuri Tillemans, it's going to be a defensive midfielder. And Serge Milinkovic-Savic is no defensive midfielder. So this one, maybe Man United, maybe Chelsea, I could see maybe Spurs. Yeah, those are the clubs, or Newcastle. Those are the clubs that I'm thinking, yeah, he might go there. But for Arsenal, I think just like Ryan Taylor said, Arsenal are not willing to panic. their plan is already laid and they will actually, follow that. So all these stories, all this BS of, Arsenal laying the groundwork for Serge Milinkovic-Savic, Arsenal putting in a lot of work for Serge Milinkovic-Savic, I don't believe that. I actually feel it's the other way around. Like, we've done a lot in terms of not coming close to signing Serge Milinkovic-Savic. So I know you have seen the story, and I just wanted to make sure that you guys and me are on the same page. But I mean, let me know, would you love Serge Milinkovic-Savic to sign for Arsenal? He's had a good tournament in the World Cup. I don't mean Serbia went very, very far, but what I'm trying to say here is that they really, really played very, very good football. And I think he played well as well. Got himself a goal in the tournament. Not everyone has a goal in the World Cup, so that is something to celebrate. But Serge Milinkovic to Arsenal, I love him. I rate him highly. 27, brings the experience, brings the leadership. He's captaining this Serbian side and also captaining that Lazio side. But no, I don't see that happen. But one deal I could see happening is Youssoufa Moukoko from Borussia Dortmund to any other club, including Arsenal, in January. So Arsenal, according to the Express, we could be looking at the possibility of bringing a centre forward just to help out Edin Nketiah. And Youssoufa Moukoko is one of the players that actually we are looking at. Now, this one doesn't come without any competition. There is Chelsea, there is Liverpool, there is Man United. There's so many other clubs that have actually opened their eyes very, very widely open to Youssoufa Moukoko's situation. So the problem that is happening here is Dortmund have him, but they're struggling to keep him. They're struggling to extend his contract. They're struggling to actually extend his deal. So, okay, that is where the problem, that is where actually the problem is. And in my opinion, I think it's one of the young strikers that's, are really exciting. I think he doesn't have the numbers yet, right? He doesn't really have the numbers yet, but I'll take him. I'll really take him. I think he's young, and that only means that he fits into our project. He's kind of a very different kind of striker to Gabriel Jesus, right? I think he's one striker that loves being in the penalty area, in the danger zone more than drifting away. And what we've seen with Gabriel Jesus is he drifts more away from the penalty area, from the danger zone, right, from the box, as compared to drifting inside. So that is one reason I would love to see Youssoufa Moukoko, but then it's a bargain. He's what? He's 19, he's 20, and he's looked at, is being looked up by every other club in Europe. So if Arsenal can get it done, yeah, maybe. But Dortmund usually don't sell in January. It's one thing they usually don't do. They did sell Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, but I follow them a lot, Dortmund. They rarely sell their players in January. So maybe it could be a point of talking to Youssoufa Moukoko, let him agree a deal for the summer, and then join us in a free. But then that would actually make very, very little sense as to why we are signing him. Because the reason as why we want to sign him is definitely to help us out during that period where Gabriel Jesus is not actually available, right? That is why I think it would be better for us to go to Salzburg and sign one of their strikers, because Salzburg, the Salzburg in Austria, not Leipzig, always sell in January. Okay, so it would be a better deal for us to go for either Noah Okafor or look, any player. I don't know. They have a couple of players that are on the market right now. They always have players on the market. Salzburg. But anyway, I think Moukoko is a good talent. Unless we get him in January, the deal won't actually make a lot of sense. And finally, there has been a deal proposed between Tomiyasu and Denzel Dumfries, and this one is a swap deal. I'm gonna trash this one, but this is my opinion on it. I think Tomiyasu was a very well scouted buy by Mikel Arteta and Edu. I think we bought him after a lot of scouting. We bought him after a lot of deliberation. When you look at what Arsenal do and how we play and how we set up in that elbow system, although Ben White is playing predominantly right now, but I think Tomiyasu's abilities are actually better suited at the right-hand side than Ben White's. I think Tomiyasu is more of a right back. Like, he can give you more in terms of playing as a right back. But the whole reason of bringing him, the whole reason of signing him is you want a player who can play in a back three, and at times we do play in a back three under Mikel Arteta. You want a player who can play in a back four, at times we do play in a back four under Mikel, but you also want a player who can play anywhere. Right back, left back, right centre back, left centre back, and he can even be a goalkeeper, in my opinion. I've not seen him play as a goalkeeper. I've not seen him play as a central midfielder, but he's quite very, very exciting. Denzel Dumfries on the other side actually fits better what Inter Milan do with the ball and even in action as compared to what Arsenal do. Like most of our attacking efforts from our defense actually goes through the left channels, Kieran Tierney or Alexander Zinchenko. So the right hand side, the right back, literally is not about exploding forward and occupying those high positions high up the pitch. Actually, you've got to be a little bit more reserved, stay behind, and provide cover. So it's literally our right back plays alongside Thomas Partey, but in a more deeper position. I don't know if that really makes a lot of sense. And that is why that deal, Tomiyasu and Denzel Dumfries swap deal, actually makes no sense for me. I'll be back later to discuss these three. Joao Felix, Mikhailo Modric, and Cody Gakpo. If I have the time, we'll do this live because we need to do some kind of a poll. I mean, they're all very interesting, but the debate is on who is better suited for this Arsenal system and who should we focus on in January. All of them are on the move. All of them are for sale, and all deals can be done within the 30 days of the January transfer window. So who is the player coming up in the next show? And I'll speak to you soon.